So, so my name is Ernest Magua. I'm the livestock technical advisor for the red meat industry services. So today we are here again to have a session, a special session, whereby we invite people with expertise within the industry to come and share information with us that might be crucial, particularly for the farmers who are farming with ruminants, that is your livestock, cattle, sheep, or goat, in trying to run their own enterprises so that they can be sustainable and profitable. And one of the reasons is try to also assist the emerging farmers on communal farmers of emerging farmers who have got their own farms to also be able to participate into the formal red meat value chain. That is the red meat industry value chain. So today we have Dr. Johnny van der Merwe, is the managing director of the AMT. So he's going to provide us with a presentation in relation to understanding of factors driving the livestock market prices. So Dr. Johnny van der Merwe is the AMT is also in one of the red meat industry partners in the industry, just to ensure that we are able to get those weekly market prices for the red meat, particularly for cattle, sheep, and goats. So today is going to provide us with a presentation, and then after the presentation, we will have a session for discussion, whereby we'll take questions and also people who want to make comments. You also have time to make comments about the presentation. So for those ones who are shy, whom you don't want to speak orally, so you can leave in your comments or your questions in the chats, and then I'll read them through after the presentation so that Dr. Johnny van der Merwe can be able to answer them. And then thereafter, then we'll close the session. So this meeting is being recorded. So after everything is done and dusted, and we will put this recording on our Red Meat Industry Services YouTube channel, so that people whom were not able to be part of this, they can still be able to refer back and go and watch this session, and can also be able to implement or be able to understand better some of the information that Dr. Johnny would be able to share with us tonight. So Dr. Johnny, I will leave the platform to you, and you can then share the slides and be able to assist us in terms of the topic for today. So over to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnny.
Thank you very much, Ernst. Yeah, thank you for your team and at the RMIS and yourself for inviting me. It's a real privilege to share some thoughts with you guys today, and hopefully help you in making better planning, show you where the data is coming from, and hopefully where the markets are going, given the lots of rainfall that we've had over the recent few weeks, and hopefully where the season is going. I think it's important to look at what's happening with foot and mouth disease and everything, and the impact of that on the markets. So basically, from AMT side, we really try to make sure we get the right information into the system. We have lots of linkages and partners with lots of auction houses, with a lot of people, with agents, market agents, to make sure that we get the right information. We do quality control, make sure we provide you guys with the best information, or the most accurate information as possible. So sometimes it's not that easy. We really need to work hard on a weekly basis to make sure the right information comes in. And then, of course, we compare it with previous years. We do a forecasting model on it, and we try to tell the story behind the information, behind the data that we have. So that's basically what we're trying to do at AMT, bring you guys a platform to make sure that we can give some insights into what is happening in the markets and hopefully where it's going. So hopefully it'll help you guys with some planning and thoughts going forward. So I'd like to start off basically this week. I'm going to share my slide now with you guys. I want to start off with, okay, so first of all, this is our social media channels. If you want to take your phone and scan this code, it'll give you a link to all our social media platforms. We've got WhatsApp groups, we've got Facebook, we've got YouTube, everything, where we on a weekly basis, almost on a daily basis, we provide the latest information for you guys. Not only in the livestock industry, but we look into the grain industry. I know a lot of farmers do livestock and grain. We do vegetable farming and not vegetable farming, but vegetable information, the market prices on the vegetables, forecasts with that, reports that we publish on that as well. So, and then economic, we do some political discussion. Unfortunately, a lot of these are in Afrikaans at the moment. But there are captions or translations available for the grain and the livestock videos, and the fresh produce video is in English. So that will help you guys that can only understand English at the moment. So please, you can take a snapshot here and join our WhatsApp groups. We can provide you guys with information there. So basically, I want to start off today with the cattle market, with beef prices. We can focus a bit on that and I'll give you the latest stats, where the prices are at and what I'm expecting for the year lying ahead and why I'm expecting that. And then I just want to focus on that a bit, and then over to the sheep market as well. I don't have any slides specifically for the goat prices, but we're one of, I think, I'm not sure if there is anybody else available with goat prices, but I can quickly talk about that as well, and what I'm expecting for that market as well. So basically, starting off with the cattle market, we are seeing at the moment weaner prices above the 40 Rand mark. It's staying there at the moment. It's the last week, it actually increased from just over the 40 Rand mark to about 41 Rand, as can be seen in the center part there. The 823 price, top left, we get other prices, official prices, the 72 Rand 54. But I'm doing a survey on a weekly basis as well to double check that for you guys and make sure we get the right information. So my price is on 73 Rand, and then the C23 price, or the older animal or the older cow price, is around 65 Rand at the moment. And what we've done as well is to get regional weaner prices into the system as well, and of course light weaners, heavy weaners. We've done a top 40% weanage. If your animal or your herd is on a higher quality and the feedlots are willing to pay more for your animal, you can see the difference there. There's about for the average price, it's 41 Rand. For the top 40%, that's the top 40% quality, basically it's about 44 Rand. So there's about a 3 Rand premium on that type of price at the moment. Regional prices as well, it differs between regions, but you can see there as well. So basically, how we get the weaner prices and the lamb prices, goat prices as well. We arranged with us, because we're independent, we talked with all the big auction houses to send me their sale reports for each week. So I'm getting really accurate data. It's not an opinion of somebody, not an opinion of a market agent, not a phone call to 2 or 3 market agents and you get an average price. It's actual numbers that we talk or that we get, we convert it, and we make sure, I personally make sure the data is accurate, there's not errors in the data, and I get the information in that way. And I think it's very unique, and it's an accurate way to make sure farmers are on level playing fields with the feedlots and the slaughterhouses and the abattoirs, everybody. So everybody gets the same information and everybody can make more competitive decisions. So that's my whole idea, is to help the farmer really help more, get more information in his pocket and make more informed decisions going forward. Okay, so first of all, I want to start off with the winners. We have seen the red line, the top thick red line on top is the 2025 price. So we've seen the price staying on a relative on a higher level. It's the highest it's ever been throughout the year. Usually throughout, I'll get to the index price now later on, but usually we see in April, May, June, the prices that comes down significantly. This year it came down a bit, but it didn't really come down, and it's due to the super price, the slaughter price that were really high with foot and mouth disease, but was also linked to a very high maize price. So I'll explain that in more detail now why that happened. So winner prices stayed relatively high. The slaughter price, the 823 price, stayed moved almost to 80, 90 rand during May, and that resulted in less animals to come through the feedlot system. Of course, less animals to be marketed, so there was supply, less supply means higher prices, of course, and higher demand. So everything, the latest price, Ernst asked me, one thing everybody wants to know is the price change from a week-to-week basis. Let's say the winner price, it changes week to week. What's driving that price? So basically, it is very simple. It's just supply and demand. If supply goes up with the demand that stays the same, prices will come down. If supply goes down with demand staying the same, we will see prices going up. People are willing to pay more to get that animal into their system. So again, that comes down to the size of the herd, the amount of pasture that's available, grazing capacity in different areas that's available. Again, rainfall, if there's a drought, if there's a lot of rainfall. But one thing, especially for weaners, that we can't underestimate is how well the grain, especially maize, season is going. If maize farmers are doing well, we usually see a lot of money being pushed into the cattle industry. They're buying animals, they're buying bulls, they're buying weaners, and that usually keeps prices on a relatively higher level. So, but that instead, we are seeing prices staying on a higher level at the moment, and not necessarily, I think it's higher demand and the higher slaughter price at the moment. One thing that's also driving weaner prices specifically is imports from Namibia and Botswana. Namibia is, as you can see the purple column at the end in each of these months. You can see the purple column is almost half, basically, in some cases more than half of what it was last year. So we're seeing not a lot of animals coming from Namibia at the moment. If I'm showing I'll show you the Botswana one. We're seeing basically no animals coming from Botswana at the moment, where we saw the last 2-3 years. In October, for instance, a lot of animals coming from that industry. So again, we're seeing less supply, less animals coming into South Africa, higher demand with that, the high slaughter price, and prices that's staying on a higher level for the weaner prices at the moment. Okay, so basically we've taken from 1998, I think we have historic information, historic prices from a week-to-week basis. So we've got really big and old databases that can predict the seasonality of prices. And we use that. We use Power BI, and we put that into a Power BI forecasting system, and that predicts, given all this information, it predicts the prices going forward over the next, this is a 12-week forecast, basically to the middle of February next year. And based on this, we're expecting prices to stay relatively sideways for weaners throughout December, maybe drop a bit and just before Christmas, but staying relatively sideways into the new year as well. But this is one thing, and this is expecting the markets to behave as the average. And we all know each year is so different from the next year. We've got a lot of rainfall this year. We've got foot and mouth disease that's different from all the other years. So what I did specifically to try and get more relevance and get more information out of this is I looked at years that's got a very high correlation, a similar trend that we saw in 2025 to date. And I looked at in previous years, and the year with the highest correlation to 2025 thus far, the trends that stayed pretty much the same was 2017. So it's not necessarily that it stayed on the same price level, but it moved in the same way compared to 2017. So given that October, November, we've actually put in the latest prices. So the price went up to about 40 Rand, as mentioned earlier in November. But based on that, we are expecting prices to dip slightly, mostly to the 40 Rand mark in December. If we stay on the same trend, we can follow a similar trend, or we can drop slightly in December. So I'll show you the slaughter indexes now. So the 823, or the super price, that was the main focus this year, probably the main one that was in the news. Everything with the foot and mouth disease, the one that's been impacted the most directly with the foot and mouth disease outbreak. So you can see the black line on top. That's what super prices did compared to the previous 4 years. So usually we don't see this massive spike in price, but there were two reasons mostly that drove these prices. The first one was we saw a white maize price of almost 7,000 Rand at the end of January this year. So what resulted is that the feedlots didn't, weaner prices were relatively high as well. So feedlots didn't, they didn't want to buy in a lot of weaners at that price and at that feed cost. So feed costs were extremely high. So they couldn't afford it. It didn't make sense to buy in weaners. So basically, it resulted, and of course, if you don't buy in January, the lag effect, it's about a 3-month lag effect. So in April, you will see a shortage usually if you don't buy in January. So basically, the price went up in April due to a lack of inputs. And of course, we usually see a slight increase in demand from consumers as well throughout April, with Easter weekend that comes in. It's the first time in a year basically that demand usually improves slightly with all the holidays and everything throughout April and the start of May. So prices went up in May, and at the same time in April, sorry, and at the same time in May, we saw foot and mouth disease starting to break out, and in June it was really big feedlots were affected, and of course it resulted in the less animals that was in the market, and it resulted on top of that they couldn't slaughter it. So the slaughter prices specifically went, the average price almost to 80 Rand, but I've heard of, or in a week it almost went to 90 Rand per kilogram during June. Again, for the rest of the year, we've seen slightly lower slaughterings, and some uncertainty around whether we will see more or less animals coming into the market. But of course, it stopped a lot of exports, and a lot more animals will definitely next year come into the markets if they can't export, come into our local markets. And that, I think my feeling is that can drive prices lower. I want to show you quickly. So this is the Okay, let me get to this slide later on. I just want to see, okay, this is the forecast for the 823 price, the beef price. We are expecting usually throughout December for demand to pick up from consumer side. So this is more a consumer driven price than a supply driven price. It's more a demand type of driven price. Consumer demand throughout December, early before Christmas picks up. And we usually see in the new year, as soon as the new year starts in January, from this line, you'll see prices dipping because people need to go to schools, they need to buy school clothes, shoes, all the stationery, everything. So a lot of money goes away from let's say food stuff more to your schooling, and everybody wants to start the new year, and nobody's got money, so everybody's is eating more 2-minute noodles at that time. So we usually see a low demand for especially sheep and beef over that period. So I did the same, yeah, basically for beef, or the 823 price that I did with wieners. So I looked at a similar year that had correlation to this year thus far, and the 2019 price. So it was a very dry year. That specific year, we had a severe drought in most of the production areas, so we had a lot of slaughterings in that specific year. And we had a similar trend compared to this year. And prices, yeah, stayed basically, or went to the 72 Rand mark, almost to 73 Rand now, the latest weekly price. But if we follow the 2019 price, I think the slaughter price, or the 823 price, can go up to 74 Rand. In my videos, I said 78, maybe 80 Rand, but the latest indications are that it will increase by about 2 Rand just before Christmas now. So not that severe spike. I'm a bit skeptical or if we can stay on these levels for next year as well. My feeling is that we will drop below the 70 Rand mark, maybe closer to the 60 Rand mark again, especially if the weather changes. But again, that's something we need to look at. I quickly want to show you this. So this is one thing that we need to take into account. So beef, the herd is building over a longer period, or is dropping over a longer period. So it's not from week to week that we usually see this. It's over a 4-5 year period that we see the herd building up, and usually then prices drop because we have a lot of animals, again, higher supply. And as soon as we have too much animals, the price drop, and then the profitability of that specific sector decreases. So people don't want to have the animals anymore, and they start reducing the number of animals. And again, that means the prices to change with that. On top of that, we usually see the weather patterns moving as well. So if grazing capacity or grazing comes under pressure due to droughts, we usually see more animals entering into the markets. People are reducing their herd size. They can't feed them anymore. And of course, prices that comes down based on that. So I want to show you basically, if you look into after the spike in 2016, we had a severe drought. Prices went up, of course. After that, we saw less animals coming into the market. So basically, the slaughterings reduced. Went on this is an index, but the slaughterings came down from about 2016 to 2022. From about 2020, we saw a lot of rain entering into the market. So if you look from 2020 till about 2022, that's where a real price spike was in the 823 price. That was, of course, the maize farmers that did really well over that period. So they invested a lot of their money into the cattle industry, and we saw a lot of rain. So the cattle farms held back, they built their herd. But from 2022, we really saw a change in the markets. We saw higher slaughterings again. Slaughtering indexes went up. So this was 2022 was I think we were on capacity, on herd capacity, and then we saw more animals being slaughtered. There wasn't a place for them anymore, so we had more slaughterings. Prices that pretty much came down and moved sideways, except for this foot and mouth disease effect that we had this year. If we move, something you need to take into account maybe for next year, there is some weather forecasters. I'm not a weather forecaster, so please don't ask me any questions regarding that. But some forecasters, one or two guys, indicated that maybe from March, April next year, we can move into a drier season, a drier period again, drier 2 or 3 years again. So what that will mean is that if the grazing comes under pressure with this higher herd that we have, or bigger herd that we have, a national herd, we will see more animals coming into the markets and prices dropping back again. So the herd needs to be reduced or to be smaller for prices to increase again. So maybe we first need to see some lower prices for prices to start trending upward again. So maybe just a thing that you can take or take into account going into next year. If you see some drought monitors coming in or some drought forecasts, you can expect prices to maybe come under more pressure compared to this year again. For beef, the C23 price, or the old cow or older cow price, is also on a very high level as well. It's been pulled up by the A23 price, or the supers price at the moment, and we are expecting this price also to stay on a slightly higher level in December and come down as we enter into the new year. So this is one index I want to show you. So if you do planning on your farm and you want to sell your animals, you can follow. So the gray line, you can follow this. So this is an index. So this is basically how prices from 2000 to 2025. So it's a 25-year period on average, how prices moved between months. So this is January. And then February, you move March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So for the gray line, you see usually weaner prices coming down from January a bit to February, but then dropping significantly into March, April, May, and June. May and June, we usually see these prices on a close level due to, we see a lot of animals coming into the markets, usually over that period of the year. And then prices over the second part of the year, that goes up. So if you want to plan for your seasons, try and move it so that you don't necessarily do May, June. But there's a reason prices are closed, because it's not always possible. But for the A23 price, a bit lower in February, and then prices moves up into April with Easter weekend, a bit of higher demand. Usually moves sideways, and then over December it comes down again. So so that's basically how it moves. And the C23 price also comes down in April and May, goes up into September, and also goes up again into December. So basically that's what we're expecting for next year as well. Prices, the weaner prices that can dip, and I think we might see more wieners coming into the market and prices that can come down into May, June next year as well. Slaughter prices, I feel, will correct themselves. The A23 price will correct downward, but again, it's the effect of what's happening to the weather and what's happening to foot and mouth disease. If it worsens, we can see prices staying on a higher level. So this is the assumption that we can see the markets moving past this and slaughter numbers to pick up again. I talked a lot now. So I quickly want to move over to the sheep market as well and focus on that. And afterwards we can take some questions. The sheep market, the feeder lamb price, it's staying above the 50 Rand mark at the moment. So my feeling with sheep, before I start with it, there's less areas that's capable of producing sheep. There's a lot of theft regarding that. There's a lot of diseases. The input cost for sheep is much higher than compared to cattle. So I think the production overall went down, or the herds went down over the last 10 or 15 years. And again, the sheep price and the lamb, or the cattle price, or the weaner price and the lamb price, it's usually traded on pretty much similar levels, but now you can see it's almost 10 Rand apart. And again, that's because of less production, less farmers being able to produce it, more farmers moving over to cattle. So if you can produce lamb, if you can produce sheep, try and do it. I think it will become more profitable, and more profitable as the volumes drop. And hopefully we can enter into some of the export markets, but first we need to get these diseases under control. It's going to be difficult, but hopefully we can get that right. So the 83 price is about 106, 107 Rand at the moment, with slaughter, or the C23 price. If you take the average between those, it's almost on 80 Rand. So the different regions, Free State 52, and then you get a slaughter lamb, that's your heavier lamb. So this is a feeder lamb that's usually between 24 and 32 kilograms. Your slaughter lamb it's a bit heavier. It's about 49 Rand if you take that into account. So this is the annual comparison for feeder lambs as well. The yellow or the orange line is this year's line. So we expected prices to come down from August, but I think that the high supers price, the high beef prices kept prices higher. You must always remember there's alternatives for food. So there's not a drop in demand for food. There's a shift in demand for food. So if people get more money, or they're poorer, or they're richer, they move to different groups. So if a lamb price goes too high, they'll start buying some beef. If beef and lamb is too expensive, they'll start buying pork and poultry. If meat is too expensive, they can buy maize meal. So there's a shift always. So the prices won't necessarily just go up. You'll see demand drops for that specific commodity if the price is too high. And if the demand drops, the price won't go up necessarily anymore, and prices will come down as demand decreases for that specific commodity. So I think the same happened here. Beef prices that went up, it pulled up the lamb prices, and the pork and the poultry prices as well over the last few months. We usually see prices dipping in December, or we saw actually prices dipping in December over the last 4 or 5 years. But if we take all the years into account, all the information that we have, so this was a unique period in the lamb market, actually, that the prices went down in December. If we take all the information that we have available, prices actually went up a bit, but I'll get to that now. So one thing, of course, is Namibia and the imports, or the number of animals, or lamb specifically, coming from Namibia. We saw a lot of lamb in 2024 and 23 coming from Namibia, but they're also in a herd building phase. I think last year they had also a drought, and they had to send more animals. They reduced their herd, so now they've got less animals to send to us. And then, of course, the export or the imports from them is staying on a lower level, and that's also contributing to less animals coming into our market, and of course, the prices staying on a higher level at the moment. And for sheep specifically, they don't necessarily like too wet weather. They don't cattle or weaners. They don't mind standing in mud and everything. But I know sheep and lamb, they're more like semi-desert animals. They really pick up good condition if they're a bit in more drier conditions, especially in South Africa. And that's why I think the production is predominantly more to the east, to the western side. There's a lot of diseases and high production cost if you're moving to the eastern parts of the country with higher rainfall and sheep that easily die, and your mortality rates that's very high, so your production cost is very high. So that's why your production is more situated to your western side. And I think as soon as I'm not saying all the regions got good rain. I know to the western parts there's very dry areas, but again, I think most areas or more areas to the Eastern Cape, to Central Free State, Southern Free State, and the eastern parts of the Northern Cape, it got good rain. So again, that's also impacting the amount of animals that comes into the markets. Less animals, higher prices, of course, that I mentioned. So the forecast that we have is we're also expecting prices to stay relatively sideways until just before Christmas, maybe the second week in December, and then prices that can drop as we move into the new year as well, and demand decreases. So we saw a very similar trend, the lamb prices to the 2020 season. Basically a high correlation to the 2020 production season. That was not after that very dry season. That's the year COVID kicked in. We saw really high prices, a lot of extra demand, additional demand coming into the markets. We moved into a herd building phase. It started to rain, so a lot of farmers kept some of their animals back, and prices went up significantly. And very interestingly, we are seeing a very high correlation to that specific year in the lamb markets. So if we follow that trend, we can see for December maybe prices dipping by about R2 for the lamb prices as demand decreases. So the 823 sheep price also stayed extremely high. Usually prices really struggle to move past the R90 mark. As you can see in 2023, prices touched the R90 mark, but then the breakthrough was in 2022 when prices went to R105. So that was extremely high prices. Last year, however, prices stayed below the R90 mark. Slightly more animals that came into the markets. I think the grain industry that didn't do so well last year specifically, they had that midsummer drought. There were some cash flow issues. So they for cash flow, if they struggle in a specific season, you'll see they market some of their animals. So they market more, they buy less. Again, it's higher supply, less demand, prices that's dipping. So maybe if we have an excellent grain season as it's currently looking like, we can hopefully from that side see additional demand, and hopefully prices that's staying on a relatively high level compared to last year, or compared to the 2024 season. But you can see prices remained extremely high. So, okay, so the forecast also indicates the same pretty much as lamb. Just before Christmas, it can start dipping going into the new year. So it's almost also to the 2020 season for the 823 price. But interestingly, in 2020, prices spiked, as you can see in this yellow, the orange line at the bottom. Not spiked, but it went up rather significantly into December. And if we follow the same trend based on our current price level, we can move to R114 price in December. So it will be very interesting to see if we move there and if consumer demand is capable of absorbing this higher price. So it will be interesting to see. I want to show you the slaughter index as well. Until 2020, again, that's the same point in time that we actually saw reduced or more animals that were being or less animals that were being slaughtered. So I think we were in a herd building phase. Lots of people invested into the industry. Less animals were sold. Grazing capacity was good. We had a lot of felt available, so people didn't market their animals as such. And we can see it in the ram prices, in the auction prices. Prices were relatively high. And then from 23, we saw slaughtering index climb significantly, and I think that was the change of the season, and as well as some of the soybean and maize farmers that were relatively more under pressure. So I think the 2020 season, at the end of 2020, I think it's October thereabout, we reached basically capacity or herd capacity, and then we started reducing the herd as well. More slaughterings. We are on capacity now, and that is basically driving prices as well. So the C23 price, we're also expecting prices to dip into January due to less demand. Prices are for C23, the older animals, also on very high levels at the moment. So that's basically okay. The sheep index, that's the last thing for sheep. I quickly want to touch on again the last 25 years. We if we combine all those years, we are expecting with the, let's get the gray line, or we usually see prices going slightly up in February. There would be some let's say tax purchases over that period sometimes, so that can drive prices slightly higher. But again, prices in March and April usually coming down. Lamb prices in April usually on its lowest level, high demand, high supply. We in the lambing period, then high supply over that period, and then prices spike usually or climb significantly as we move to July each year. In July, we see the lowest supply and prices on its highest usually. The 83 price on a similar level, on a similar trend, but we usually see prices also coming up a bit into December, and that's the main difference as consumer spending or consumer demand usually picks up. Everyone wants to have a leg of lamb in the oven in December or throughout Christmas, and the C23 price also increasing sharply over December, also peaking around August each year. So that if you want to do your planning for specifically and move out of some marketing windows, try to use this and try to shift your planning a bit to hopefully get some better prices without hopefully increasing some of your production cost. I don't really want to focus on the economics, and we usually look into the economics, the oil prices, the exchange rate, everything. But yeah, I think it's we can do some questions if you'd like. Now. Ernst?
Thank you, Dr. Johnny, with such a very fantastic presentation. I'm going to open up the platform for you, the farmers, and everyone who's in the meeting to ask questions. I'm sure you enjoyed the presentation as much as I did. You can just raise up your hand, and then I will allow you to put on your mic so that you can ask the question that you'd like Dr. Johnny to answer. So in the absence of questions, in the absence of oral questions, in the meantime, I'm going to read out the inbox questions that people asked, and then I'm going to ask you, Dr. Johnny, to answer them. Let me just see. The first question says, "Hi, Ernest. I am an aspiring farmer, but I would like to know, where do I access this information regarding the demand and prices when I want to sell?" They just want to know where can they access the weekly prices trends if they want to sell. Dr. Johnny?
Okay, no, perfect. I shared that QR code at the beginning. So basically, what me and Adams talked about earlier is you guys need to farm. You guys have a lot of stuff on your plate as well, and that's the service basically that AMTT tries to do for everybody, for big commercial farmers, for small scale farmers, for up and coming farmers. So we try to bring the latest information to everybody. We do this on a weekly basis, and we do a YouTube channel, we do Facebook, we have a lot of information that we send out on our WhatsApp channels, and there you'll definitely be up to date with the latest prices. I discuss in each week's episode, I discuss the forecasts, what I'm thinking now, and where these prices are going. So hopefully that can help you a lot to make decisions from week to week as something changed, because I just made this presentation and without me knowing something happened somewhere, and that's the whole forecast is different going forward. So only God knows what's happening tomorrow, but but we try to give you guys some tools to hopefully help you to make more informed decisions. And that's the whole aim of what we're trying to do at AMT. Yeah.
Absolutely. For those ones who don't know, we also, as the red meat industry, are in partnership with AMT. You can also be able to see some of the prices on our website. And the other question is, why would the beef price drop in January when the supply has dropped due to Namibia not supplying as it used to, and FMD impacting on the supply?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, yeah, Namibia's got a very small impact on our market. So it's a lot sentiment driven prices. So and it's got a more direct impact on the wiener prices and the lamb prices. Certain extent to the wiener price, but Botswana and Namibia together, they have an impact on our wiener prices, not really the slaughter prices. And then, of course, Namibia's got an impact on the lamb prices. Some of those animals coming from there as well. So it's not necessarily that there's a massive amount of animals coming from there in relation to our market, but sometimes there's cheaper animals coming into our market, and that drives our prices also lower, given it's a, let's say, type of import parity price. It's like an import price, so they say they can buy it for that amount in Namibia, and they say, okay, but we want to pay the same here. So sometimes we get that drives prices slightly downward if we see more of those animals coming in, but their animals are a bit smaller. It's more of a desert type of animal, especially in Namibia. So in most circumstances, it can't really compare to our quality. But again, sometimes it's got an impact on our prices. But the slaughter prices are more driven, not more, but it's got a bigger influence by consumer demand as well. So if consumer demand and a lot of people's spending money, you can't buy in January. At the end of January, you have to pay school fees, you have to buy school clothes and everything, and pens and everything for your kids to go to school. Everybody's going back to work. Nobody's buying anymore. Nobody's having big meals anymore. So you see a drop in demand, even though supply can be a bit lower. So the drop in demand will naturally drive prices lower over that period as well. Unfortunately, that's usually the trend that we see.
Absolutely. I have received a few questions on my WhatsApp. They pleaded with me to say, please ask Dr. Joni. One of them is how can the farmers anticipate livestock prices fluctuation in order for them to decide the best time to sell?
Okay, so that is that index slide that I shared. So that's basically your fluctuation between months in a year. So from January to February, from February to March, from March to April, that's the trend that we usually see prices follow. It's not a given, because each year is different in terms of let's say this year was foot and mouth disease. Next year it can be drier. This year it was wet, so forth. So again, but this is the seasonal trends that we can expect. So you can expect lamb prices from March to April to drop in a given season. So I think if you make your plans based on that, you will more likely, more of the times, be right than you will be wrong. So yeah, that's basically how you can help yourself to manage the price fluctuations in the industry.
Definitely. Um, I've seen someone raising up their hand, but I see the hand disappeared. So I would advise you to just raise your hand again. If not, I'm just gonna, in the meantime, continue with the inbox questions. And one of the questions, Mahosi Kadi asked that what determines the regional prices? I think you covered it, but I think they just
So
want to.
yeah, so for basically, luckily I don't thumb suck anything. I really get the prices, the actual prices from these regions. But again, the distance to the market is one of the important factors that needs to be taken into account. And the biggest market is usually Gauteng, and you need to transport the animal to there. It needs to be slaughtered, needs to transport. That's where the consumer, that's where the demand is, the consumption basically of that animal, that meat is most of the time. So if you're in Upington, you have a large transport type of cost. So other hubs is in, let's say, Cape Town, Durban, wherever. So, but if you're in Upington, you can't, all the animals that's there can't be consumed there. So you need to transport it to Gauteng. So the people in Gauteng is willing to pay less because they need to get it there. So we see a slightly lower price in the Northern Cape specifically. And in the Northern Cape, for instance, for lamb, they can't, because their grazing capacity is so low, their rainfall is so low, a wool animal or a dual purpose animal can't, sheep can't really adjust their less cattle is, of course, so it's more of a meat or a dorper type animal that needs to graze there or to be there. And sometimes that's, of course, if there's no wool on the animal, it gets a lower price for that instance as well. So there's different regions, there's different prices in different regions as well, that determines the prices as well. And the close proximity to markets is very definitely one. Let's say Limpopo as well, there's more disease pressure there, foot and mouth disease, that's they're a bit higher. So again, some risk factor that needs to come into account. So there's different climate reasons, there's different consumption reasons in a certain area that drives prices from region to region. Yeah.
Okay. So another question is there any tool that the farmers can use to trace the livestock prices in real time?
No.
No.
Yeah, there's a short answer, no. So basically, what we're trying to do, and the Competition Commission is also very, they don't want to people to lead the market to say, okay, next week the price is going to be X, so everybody's doing that. So basically, that's determining the price going forward. So they only want historic type of information that we can share, and I understand that we don't want to manipulate the market. We really want the market to find its own feet, basically, on an auction, to say, okay, I'm willing to pay for this. And again, it comes back to supply and demand. If there's high demand and less supply, prices will go up on that specific auction. And again, it's on an auction, prices can be 2-3 rand higher because there's just 2-3 guys that's chasing each other. So again, from auction to auction, prices can change, and that's what makes us so unique. It's not a given price. I give prices and I give a recommended price of what you can expect going into auction. But again, in that specific auction, you'll definitely see sometimes there's no demand, prices going a bit lower. The guy needs to sell, so prices can be lower than that, and you can hopefully buy it at the cheaper price. But again, there's certain aspects that determines the prices on a given auction, and then of course nationally. But no, there's not like a suffix type price that that unfortunately determines prices. So it's a very informal type of system at the moment, and we do a lot of work from AMT's side to make sure we get the right information coming in, and that I can really provide you guys with the most accurate and most up-to-date information as possible.
There are some other farmers that are concerned about goat market. They ask how will it look like in the future as well as compared to the sheep market and then the cattle beef market, because they are also farming with breeds like the Boer goat, they say. So is there any comment that you can make in relation to that?
Can I
The goat.
quickly, yes, can I quickly share with you? Can I quickly share the screen again? I want to show you guys this. Can you see it, Ernst?
No,
Hmm?
it's not yet on the screen. Yes,
Can
yes,
you
now we
see
can see
it?
it. Yes.
Okay, so basically, this is the trend. IMT is also getting all this information, and so basically, this is the trend that you can expect. The year starts, or the year starts off with goat prices on a relatively low level. Going into April, again, prices drop pretty much the same as in lamb. But from the second part of the year, we usually see prices going up till October, prices that spike into winter. After winter, usually after winter, let's say August, October, August, September, yeah, so August, September, October, thereabout. There's a lot of traditional demand for goats, and that's when prices usually stays on its highest. We've seen prices coming down over the last few weeks or so, slightly dropping, but again, I think till April we can see goat prices staying on a slightly low level, and then usually from May, let's say June, prices going up as we move into the winter each year. So that's our forecast, or that's our expectation how goats will also trade these.
Right. I think I tried to read through most of the questions. I see we are almost, I think we are an hour after the start of the meeting. I'm just going to read through the last few questions and then we can close down the discussion. Let me see. There are some farmers that are asking about the slides. If you can be able to share the slides. Dr. Johnny? Johnny? Dr. Johnny, can you hear me? Dr. Johnny? It seems as if we lost Dr. Johnny. Let's see if he comes back in a few seconds. No, I think we lost him. So I think, but he managed to answer most of the questions that, or most of the concerns that US farmers had. If he is unable to come back into the meeting, I would like to conclude the discussion here. So, but for those who were not here when we started with the meeting, just know that the session will be also uploaded on the Red Meat Industry Services YouTube channel as soon as possible, meaning you can start checking for it starting from tomorrow in the afternoons, then so that you can be able to go through the session alone and get to understand better everything that Dr. Johnny was presenting. So we also going to have another session, monthly webinars of the red meat industry again next year in February. So this is our last 2025 webinar, and we honored it by inviting Dr. Johnny just to come and share the market trends and so that he can share a lot of insights. So US farmers or the industry role players, who can understand it better, because we thought that most of the farmers still struggle in terms of understanding the trends and what influence them, the weekly prices and so forth. So we believe that we believe that you managed to understand few things from the market trends. So by so saying, I would like to conclude the session and thank you, all of you who managed to join in and attend. And we will see you again in 2026. So as the Red Meat Industry Services, we appreciate your participation. Let's meet once again in 2026, sorry. So thank you very much. We wish you all the best. May you have a very blessed Christmas, and we wish to see you well and sound again in 2026. Lekker boer, like Dr. Fafa would say. Thank you very much. Thank you.